Here's how sweet treats might be making your diet harder. You might have noticed that you can eat an infinite amount of sweet treats. I know I feel that way. There's a reason for that. That's as you're consuming simple sugars, your blood sugar goes up and promotes the release of a hormone called insulin. And insulin's job as a hormone is to deliver energy to our body. Where it wants to deliver that energy is into our muscles. However, most of us don't exercise enough for our muscles to require that energy input. So insulin has no choice but to find somewhere else to put it. Guess where that is? That's storage. And here's the other cool little quirk with insulin. Like many other hormones in our body, when one is triggered, it usually triggers the release of another. In this instance, what pairs well with insulin is a hormone called dopamine, which rewards you for whatever activity you're conducting at that point in time. In this instance, eating. Guess what? Keeps you hungry. And several hours after the insulin wears off and your blood sugar is low, another hormone called ghrelin is released. And ghrelin's responsibility is to signal hunger. So here we are in a vicious cycle of hunger after consuming sugary foods. Seems like a pretty cruel and vicious cycle, right? We eat sweet stuff and it makes us hungrier. But there is actually a reason for that. And that's ancestral within our biology. We used to be hunter-gatherers not that long ago in human history. And food was scarce. So when we found food that was high in energy, we devoured as much as we could because our bodies didn't know if there was food again tomorrow. That biology still exists in the energy-dense world that we live in today. Now, as I've said before, sugar itself is not the problem. Over-consuming calories is the problem. But when you have a hormonal response to sugar to make you hungrier, you tend to overeat calories. So, what do we need to do to figure out this issue? Well, we need to make sure that when we're having carbohydrates and sweet treats, that our muscles are actually depleted of energy, so that when insulin is raised, it's delivering that energy into our muscles and not into our fat cells. That just buys us a little more wiggle room to have the sweet treat without consequence. So that's why when we have some fast digesting carbohydrates like processed foods or some sugary foods, it pays to pair it with exercise and activity. Do it in close proximity to a gym session or a run, or even just a walk. Walk after dinner if you've had carbohydrates in your meal. Walk after lunch if you've had carbohydrates in your meal. Pair sugars and carbs with activity and you'll never have a problem. And if you need a subtle reminder, then save this post and follow me for more, because I'm always giving helpful, handy tips to help out my community. Let's get healthy.